Question comes in light of the G20 summit, and certainly the Tea Party people in this country don't advocate, increasing taxation, and certainly we're looking for the government to get things under control as far as their spending, and so hoping that the administration will take that tack, be forced to take that tack. What will you do to get the government spending under control, eliminate the wasteful earmarks that are being attached to all these bills?
Well, as I indicated here, actually, was it last night, the night before, the first thing I will do is advocate for, push for a balanced budget to the U.S. Constitution, because I think we've discovered over the years that it's very difficult once a legislator goes to Washington to not take into account so much pressure from special interests to provide either a special tax break or a special money for their particular project. If we have a constitutional limit on overspending, I think that's going to provide the discipline that will make sure that things are simply are not out of imbalance as they are now. We have $1.5 trillion deficit this year, a $14 trillion debt long term, and this is simply unsustainable. We are at a turning point in this country, and if we don't control that fiscal irresponsibility, the printing of money that we don't have, and the expectation that our next generation, 2 or 3 generations hence, will pay for our mistakes today, is just unconscionable. That's actually why I'm in this race. To me, the cost issue, the cost of government is such a pervasive problem that it inhibits all opportunities, not only in the private sector, but even it limits our flexibility in terms of advocating for our own self-interest as a sovereign nation. We are dependent on the Chinese to buy our debt. We are dependent on an international banking system which doesn't particularly serve our interests. I think that we need to look to establishing a clear commitment to a balanced budget, but I don't believe, and I think experience has demonstrated, that when folks go to Washington, they're not able to do it. So if we have a constitutional amendment, and I think the time is right, because there's a lot of people who are now really concerned about the unfunded mandates that are going forward. We're looking at $100 trillion in Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid unfunded mandates. If we don't get a hold of this, we are on a cliff to destruction, bankruptcy, and it will this 230-year experiment in federalism and liberty and freedom will be ended. And I don't want to see that happen. My grandchildren deserve a better future than I had, and if I don't get involved and try to make this difference, I can't live with myself. So that's why I'm in this race. That's, I believe, is the critical core issue that we have to restrain the growth of government and the size of government, and we do that by limiting the expenditures of government.
Time's up.
Okay. Now we'll just give you 5 minutes to go ahead and talk about whatever you'd like and convince us you're the guy for the office. Go ahead.
Well, I think what distinguishes me from the other 2 candidates, and I'm going to speak directly of the other 2 candidates, Tim Walberg and Brian Rooney, because those are the 2 I faced in this primary. I am the only candidate who actually has business experience. And I challenge the other candidates in this race to disclose their personal income tax returns, because I think you and I, as voters, need to understand that the folks who make claims about job creation experience need to demonstrate the fact that they've done it. Tim Wahlberg lives on a taxpayer-funded pension. He goes around and talks about self-reliance, self-determination, and the necessity to rely on entrepreneurship. Yet he himself has never held a private sector job. Brian Rooney, who refuses, by the way, to release his income tax returns, lives on a family trust provided by the Rooney family, who owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's the same money, same family trust that supported Barack Obama 2 years ago in western Pennsylvania. The Rooney family is an opportunistic family. They have one member of their family in the U.S. House right now. They're very much like the Kennedy clan of a generation ago. They're looking to legitimize their family fortune. It's a family fortune based on gambling, on racetracks, and Pittsburgh Steelers. And using the Pittsburgh Steelers, for example, 2 years ago, to support with their logo and their players and the NFL franchise in support of Barack Obama shows and demonstrates that the Rooney family is prepared to do whatever it takes to make sure to gain access to power in Washington. And I believe that those who talk about conservative values and job creation and the fact that they have the experience to get it done need to demonstrate that. Is a person who lives on taxpayer-paid pension and a person who lives on mom and dad's trust fund the person that you want to send to Washington to sort out the mess that we have there? You want a person who's actually walked the walk, not only talks the talk, not only expresses the current conservative talking points, but actually has demonstrated through a lifetime of 35 years in business that he's actually done it. I believe that's the kind of person we need to send to Washington. We don't need opportunists. We don't need hypocrites. I believe that I can demonstrate by my lifelong achievement in business that I'm the candidate. Now, I'm secure economically. So when I go to Washington, I'm not going to be dependent on that paycheck that I get from my time in Congress to support my family. Tim Wahlberg is going to be dependent on that. So the likelihood is that when the leadership tells him to vote in a certain way, is he going to be independent? Because he's got to be there to support his family. And I believe that independence is an important thing when you go to Washington. You've got to be able to support and advocate for the people, not yourself. You can't go there and expect that you're going to retain and be a privileged part of a career. I think that's not someone that we want to have representing us here in this district. You know, there's a reason why I have not been so visible to the voters, because I don't have the resources. I don't have the resources in terms of name recognition, and Tim Wahlberg does, and that brings in a lot of commitments and money. And I don't have the family resources. I can't afford to put $350,000 of my own family money in this race. I have put $25,000 in, but that's about as much as I can do. So I believe that what we need to do to send to Washington is a citizen patriot, someone who's willing to step up and take responsibility for being what he is, and being able to speak directly to the folks in this district because he has worked himself. He himself is a success story. I've demonstrated that I can succeed and I will succeed in supporting and representing the people of the 7th District.